All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I'm going to cover three today. We're going to look at KITT, UONE, and CARV. Okay, KITT on a standalone. Look, I don't really know the story here, but I'll at least say I love seeing the word robotics in the company. I love that this is in aerospace and defense. I mean, there's a lot of money to be made in military government contracts, right? So I'm liking the story. And then actually in the Chart Readers Discord, someone moments ago actually put a video up here, and it looks like they talk about KITT around that 1 minute mark on this video. So an interesting one that kind of looks like it might be wanting more, and I see it going up a little bit in after hours too. So we'll talk about all that. The other two are actually a little bit connected, and it's a Juneteenth connection. So I'll talk a little bit about Juneteenth. I know there's a lot of international people might not know what that is. It's actually a relatively new holiday on the U.S. side, but yeah, they are both black-owned companies. Juneteenth is very much it's a black holiday. I don't know what else to call it, right? So yeah, there's always the assumption, and I'll go back in the charts and I'll show you that when the Juneteenth holiday comes, these black-owned companies kind of go up, right? And hey, it kind of seems to be forming. I'll at least flash the charts. You'll see actually a very big day today on UONE, and then CARV looks like it's just a little bit behind, but really it's been moving nicely, right? So those right there are the Juneteenth stocks. All right, so excited to talk about all these and more, but before we do go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. Again, I haven't covered this one, so I will draw some horizontal support and resistance lines, and then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can, please subscribe to this channel. Share this video online with your friends. Comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps so much with these YouTube algorithms. But for real, just being here, giving me your advice, giving me your time, giving me your comments. Oh, I'm so grateful for it. All right, so let's take a look at KITT. And again, I don't really know what the story is here. And very quickly, just zooming out, this is a stock that's had some trouble. I'm assuming that this was a SPAC, right? Whenever you see a real long, hard resistance around that $10 line, excuse me, I always think SPAC, and clearly this was a de-SPAC that went wrong, right? So that's at least my assumption. Like I said, I don't really know a lot about the story on this ticker, okay? What I do see, sorry, I think I zoomed in a little bit too much. So I think this is a good point. Since, oh my goodness, really since like here, but let's just call it like November. Since November of last year, and you can see that November candle is actually under the red line, right? But we have pretty much been completely under that red line, that 50 moving average on KITT for quite a while, all right? From there, I'll get to the volume shortly, but I mean, my goodness, right? But yeah, struggling with the line, struggling with the line. Baby fake attempt. First attempt, kind of a second attempt, a better real second attempt, and then this one actually gets over it, right? So that's something I kind of talk about. One thing I like to see is closer and closer and more attacks on that single line that you can't break, right? What looks like this line that we've been under for more than a year, whatever that number is, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, number 5 makes it, right? And I was a little loose on those counts. Obviously that one doesn't touch, blah, 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 but you get it, right? Like you want to see that Jenga corner start to get so shaky that obviously if you touch it again, it's going to break, right? This 100 moving average is an even uglier line because really even that right there doesn't get over it. And I mean, oh my goodness, we're pretty much talking about being under that 100 moving average since it dropped from 10. We fail it right there. I just mentioned we fail it right there, and then we've basically never touched it till the wick today, right? So that is a monster resistance right there. There is absolutely nothing but red. That could be a real crazy green up to there, right? I think it's worth drawing at least, I don't know if I should draw 2 lines. I'm going to draw 2 lines. I'm going to draw that 50%, and I'm going to draw the underneath. Let's go to the weekly to see if any of those lines are better than the others. All right, I think I'm going to keep them both. We actually wicked it. Yeah, I'm going to keep them. I'm going to keep them. I dig them. I took half of this candle and I took the bottom of this candle. If we can break into the candle, I think there's a good shot that we go to the middle. If we break the middle, there is nothing until we get to this bad boy right here. You know what I mean? Let me see. And there really isn't even one big candle that's worth drawing an extra line. Where is this at? I think that's too high. That's too high. Yeah, there's really no extra line I can steal from the weekly to draw. Maybe that's a little something. There's a little bit of a horizontal right there, but I'll be honest, that just seems a little bit on the weaker side. Maybe put that in your back pocket, but yeah, if we break 25, it seems real likely that 37 would be next. What's this number? 32, 30, and 28. And it looks like, did we hit 28 today? What was the high of the day? It was 27. All right, I'm going to set my alert for 28. Now, look, again, I'm not in this stock, right? So I got to set a little bit different of a criteria. If you're already in it, hey, beautiful, right? But I think to me, if we can get into that 28 realm, there might be more. Now, look, just because the alert hit doesn't mean buy, right? Like if we take too much juice to get from here to there, obviously I'm not going to make a move, right? But yeah, I think 28 would be an interesting place. You know, I could have drawn a line at like 26, right, too. But I'll take that extra little 10%, give me up a little bit more. Maybe I'll start to believe the 100 actually broke. But coming into the lower indicators, right, that's a nice divergence. That's a nice divergence. Both of them green over red. That's a real health. Sorry, I didn't mean to do that. One more. Good. I didn't mean to do that. But yeah, 65 is a good number. I'm actually looking at an RSI that was 75. Oh, I looked like it was a little bit higher. But regardless, let's say we go from 65 to 75. Boom. That's beautiful, right? So good numbers, good divergence, and lovely, lovely volume. Again, let me know if there's any real news here that kind of sparked it off. But yeah, you make an attempt, you bounce on the lines, you break and you go. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing right there, right? So nice technical move. Watch for that 25 break. Where are we on the weekly? I mean, look at this thing. We've been well under the 8. Look, this is just Monday in the week, right? So we can't assume that we've broken it. But yeah, if we can get over the 8, that's a beautiful thing. The next thing I'm going to be thinking is get over the 20. What's that 20 moving average here? It's 24. Yeah, again, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. I think you find your risk tolerance and you kind of decide what you want to go for. But yeah, clearly, if we get over this, there's a lot of room up here. There's a lot of red, and it's saying the exact same thing that the daily is saying, right? And I love it when the weekly and the daily tell me the same things, right? So a lot here. Hey, I'm really, really curious what the news is, why all this volume came when clearly there wasn't a lot before, right? So I barely talked about the volume. I kind of wish I talked about it more, but why all the interest, especially these last 4 days, arguably this last month. Clearly it picks up around the middle of May, early May, right? Like we were at 500K. All of a sudden we're pushing 1 million, 30 million, sorry, we're pushing 30 million, 50 million plus, right? So yeah, just curious. But let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's come into these next two, all right? So UONE and CARV, all right? So I'm going to group these two together. Both of these stocks are Juneteenth stocks, all right? So what does that mean? First, let's take a look at what that means on the chart. Let's look at it on the monthly. All right, so we are in June. I'm going to delete all those lines. We don't need all those lines up there. Give me a sec. Delete them all. Cool. So we're in June right now, all right? The last time we were around June, so look, this is April, May, June, you can see it starts to make a move, right? It goes all the way up. Actually, it makes the peak of the run a little bit early last year. It actually peaks around May, and then come June, it had a pretty ugly candle, right? So I would need a little more info to see when it dumped, but yeah, keep that in mind with last year, all right? Coming into the year before, again, you can kind of see it. It was this June that peaks all the way up here, but then eventually comes back down, right? I think that was the first one, and I do believe it was around the COVID timeline that Juneteenth became a thing. All right, so this was the first one, actually, April, May, June. You can see this was the big monster. So okay, cool. I got it. This was a post-COVID holiday, all right? COVID's obviously 2020, right? This was the first June candle. You can see that this one ended the month of June 6/30, right? Big monster, big monster. 1,445% gain that started down here at $1.34. You can see the open that closed all the way here at 20 and actually got as high as 50 plus. The first one was crazy. The next one, again, you can see April, May, June. It was the third one, right? April, May, June. This is the third one. So this one, look, it was a 20% gain. That's not a bad thing, right? But the height of it, oof, got as high as here as 23. Half of that, right? Keep that in mind. Here's the next one, and this one actually is the first of the uglies. This month opens up here at 13 and then drops down there. A lot of people lost most of that full 50%, all right? So keep that in mind. Juneteenth, I think, is on the 14th or the 17th. Damn, how ignorant do I sound not knowing the day of the holiday? I am running to my phone to grab it. Give me a sec. 19th, damn it. All right, so it's on the 19th, right? So maybe it's a pump until it, a dump after it. Hey, the dump might even come before, right? So play the Juneteenth accordingly. Let's come to the next one, right? And you can see this last one wasn't much. And then, hey, this one's kind of setting up right now, right? You can see the exact same thing on CARV, all right? The first one was big. This one actually continued because I think that there was some decent news. And then again, you can see a little bit of that same dump on that one. I guess it's not as pretty as this one. But again, CARV and UONE, Juneteenth Connection. All right, that's the heart of what we're here to talk about, okay? Today was a nice day on this one because, hey, we're talking about a lot of red right when this 50 broke, right? Literally from that, you can see the 50 lines right there, right? Once we got over that red line, red, green, red, green, it just pretty much filled today, right? We're actually still in the middle of it, and you can say we're over 50% of that candle, right? You can argue maybe it's around there. I'm not here kind of measuring and making perfection, right? But we are sitting in a decent amount of nothing, and look, right here isn't that far from the IPO line. All right, so I've always been, like, you can see it a little better on the weekly. Oh, I was completely wrong. I was completely wrong. That's funny. I saw that this morning, and I thought that actually. So, no, the IPO is actually right here, and that was after an 8-1 reverse. Sorry about that. What it is true, though, is this is a decent resist. No, wow, we're actually even higher than that. Okay, we're here. We are here. And again, I'm looking at the weekly, right? I want to draw that. I think that's a good line to draw. So that was a peak. That was kind of a peak. I obviously took the biggest candle from there. And that actually might be the bottom of this big candle right here. Is it? What did you open at? 203? No, not even close. As I zoom in, not even close. Okay, sorry. That was down here. Okay, so that's on the weekly. Let me come to the daily. Oh, that's pretty much actually where we're... Okay. Interesting. Okay. You can tell I'm losing my train of thoughts on a couple of things right now. Sorry about that. Okay, let's just get to the technicals. That's at least what I'm here for. I think I did a decent thing with the Juneteenth thing. I like the MACD. The thing is, though, today could have been a pump and dump, or today could be the start of that Juneteenth run that, again, I do believe will dump at some point, right? But yesterday, we were down here at 100K. You can roughly say we 9x today all the way up here to 900, right? So the question's basically going to be one of two things. Are we going to hold the volume or do better? Or are we literally going to pump and dump, right? So I'm going to zoom out real quick to look at volume. Oh, we've been way higher. Let's get rid of that. Oh, we've been here before. Look at that, right? So we've seen higher than this little peak. And as I'm looking at this view, there hasn't been a reverse split since this view right here. We've had some monstrous millions. Now again, I'm completely ignoring this. I really am, because again, this was one of the biggest and one of the first of them, right? So I think that's a little much, but hey, I like the fact that, look, June last time around it, we saw a couple volumes in the 2 million, 3 million, right? Why did that October? Again, this June was crazy. I don't think we'll mimic that. And again, I think this June is a little bit too crazy as well, right? So it's one of those. It's. I mean, again, do you think history is starting early and we're about to go back into the millions for the next like week and a half to 2 weeks? Do we think it's going to be a pump and dump? That's still, and again, I'm repeating it. I apologize. The question. What am I looking for? I think 800. If I'm looking for 800,000 shares, not 800 million, right? 800,000 shares in a 7-hour day, I need about 115,000, 115K, maybe a little closer to like 250. I would love to see around 250,000 shares by that second hour, okay? I would love 1. Let's just say 1.3. That's more than a 30% increase in volume, right? I would love 1,300,000 shares traded in a 7-hour day. So I'm looking, let's just call it almost 200,000 and 400,000. All right. I think that's what I would really love to see in those first 2 hours. And I mean, there's not a lot holding us between here and there, right? I think the oh no number is going to be here. I can see us coming back down to maybe 270, right? The 100 moving average is at 270. We broke it, but we got to confirm. I can actually see us even coming, let's say here, maybe 260. I think 260 is a decent low case. If we lose 260, I think we might fall all the way to 240. So maybe keep that in your back pocket. That might save you like a 10% right there. If we go up, I think the first place it's going to need to go to is, oh man, that's way too high. Yeah, I think let's just call it this 290 line. If you can open above and keep going, but that's basically where we closed today, right? Yeah, give me like a penny more, for real. Break 290 tomorrow, and man, there might not be a lot stopping this thing from getting to 330. I think that's a decent place for this. CARV B, let's take a look. Again, same volume comments, right? We've seen, oh, this one doesn't have as big of it on the last one. So take a look at that, right? The last June actually saw less volume than we saw today. That said, we are significantly better this June than we were last June. Last June, this thing was under all the moving averages. It did a decent attempt to get back up. So you can say, hey, it actually wasn't too bad here. Went from almost 3 to a little bit more than 4. That's not horrible either, right? We're looking at a break off 5 and fly, right? So I don't know if it's fair comparing it to this. I don't even know if it's fair comparing it to this. Again, we've been under them all. Oof. I don't know if it's even fair to compare it to this. This is the second one, and this is the first one. But look, I'm going to just leave it kind of general for you to decide. CARV does well when it's over all the moving averages and in the Juneteenth window. That's where we're at today. That's not where we've been the last 2 years, right? And it's a little unfair to just weigh the first 2 years of a brand new holiday, brand new focus. Man, there was a lot of protests to make Juneteenth a real thing. I still remember that. I do. That's why it's really embarrassing. I forgot the date. I'm not pretending that didn't happen. I think that flustered me a bit. But the 19th is almost a full 2 weeks of trading from here to there, right? So have a plan. Let's draw some lines. Let's at least do that for the team. What's half of you? I like that. I think that's the next line. Where are you here? We hit a little bit there. Where's the weekly? Let me take a look at the weekly. I like that line. No, I do. Okay, that's That's the next line, and then this is the next one. I think that's the one too. Okay, cool. And then for U1, did I get lines up? Let's draw the next lines up just to have it. It would be that, and then basically that. That's actually it. So cool. All right, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Hey, thank you so much.